You know, if you think about how Jesus traveled around with these guys and they sat around the campfire and whatnot, you think there would have been some discussion. Tell us what it's like to be God. Tell us what it was like back off when you pre-existed somewhere. I mean, he would have shared that, I would think. It would have been an important part of the testimony.
You would need another Bible, not just a whole other book.
Well, and he would have addressed that when he was asked what's the greatest commandment. That would have been a great time. You know, he quoted the Shema, but he would have said, but let me explain it to you. Since you didn't get it back then yet, God wants to reveal it now.
The Shema. Shema is just a Hebrew word, variously translated as listen or hear or obey. The great commandment of the Jewish ancient Israelites, Hebrews, however you want to say it, by the way. Now, Jesus cites that verse, Deuteronomy 6:4, when a scribe in Mark 12 asked him, he was testing him really. Okay, Jesus, they say you're a rabbi. Well, what's the greatest of the commandments? Some translations have what's the first and greatest. And Jesus recites the Shema verbatim. The rabbi, as you can see in this conversation, you see verse 32. Rabbi says, the scribe says, you're right, Jesus. God is one, there is no other but him. Singular personal pronouns. Tens of thousands of times throughout the Bible, thousands of times in the New Testament alone, God is understood as a single individual, or as we say, a non-human divine person. A person as in an individual, not a human person. And that's just the understanding. My opponent, if you watch the debate, I asked him, is one Lord. Is that a Trinitarian statement of faith?
Yes.
So the rabbi who goes on to say in Mark 12, he says to Jesus, that is true, teacher. You are right to say that he is one, using singular personal pronouns. There is no one else besides him. Are you really saying that this scribe was Trinitarian?
The scribe? No, I'm not saying this. Is that what you said originally? If you asked me about the scribe being Trinitarian, I didn't. If I said yes, I didn't mean to. No.
So right there, there's a contradiction, I think.
Well, and even so, Jesus, this is the perfect time to explain it, where he says that God is one and there is none but him. And Jesus would say, yeah, right, but I'm part of that God, or I'm God too. He would have, that's a perfect timing for him to be able to do that.
Instead, Jesus talks about the God of the Shema as our God, the Lord. So in the Hebrew, Yahweh or Jehovah, our God. So that's a weird thing to say. If you're the same one God, as you say, Jesus had to change that, recite it, and then change it, and then say, okay, you've heard this, but this is what that means.